This is your Week 2 fantasy preview. Last weekend, rough weekend for your boy. Uh, Ohio State lost on Saturday. The Browns lost on Sunday, and believe it or not, I went 0-5 in fantasy. Um, uh, Pretty much a mixture of players underperforming for me and playing some of the point leaders in some of my leagues. So didn't sit well with me. I'm very eager to redeem myself in week 2. So let's get to it, shall we? For week 2, the three guys or two quarterbacks that I like this week based on matchups is Jake Locker and Andy Dalton. They both had pretty solid games in week 1, and they have favorable matchups opposing defenses week 2. Other QBs to look at if you're looking for a backup QB or basically just a backup. There's Matt Castle. He played a pretty good game. McCown for the Buccaneers. I thought he had a sloppy game, but he had 2 touchdowns. Russell Wilson, obviously, nice dual threat. Actually, Derek Carr had a nice game for the Raiders, surprisingly. Jay Cutler, no surprise there. He's a solid backup anyways. Kaepernick had a good game. Foles had a really sloppy start, but ended up throwing 2 touchdowns in the second half like I said he would. Andrew Luck, he's probably on your team anyways. And then last but not least, Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford, I watched that game, the whole game, and Stafford impressed me. I mean, he was throwing darts. Calvin Johnson was making it look too easy. And then he had a rushing touchdown that was impressive because he got popped by John Beeson at the goal line and still scored. So I like what I see from Stafford so far. Moving on to running backs. We have Knowshon Moreno, Terrence West, and Isaiah Crowell from the Browns. Chris Ivory from the Jets. Matt Forte had a monster week. I mean, he's already on your team anyways, but he looks like he's going to have a huge year. And then Carlos Hyde. Okay, Marino had a really nice game, over 100 yards, scored tons of fantasy points, so it looks like he's going to be getting the bulk of the load instead of Lamar Miller. For the Browns, Ben Tate's going to be out for a while. I want to say a few weeks. They're saying that West is going to be the starter, which is awesome. He's a very good back. And Isaiah Crowell is going to be the change of pace back. Isaiah Crowell came in and scored 2 touchdowns against the Steelers. So he actually, both of them are good pickups, but West is obviously the guy that's going to get more carries. Ivory had a nice game, 100 yards and a touchdown, I believe. I don't trust him to stay healthy, but he did get more carries and more production than Chris Johnson, so that's nice. And last but not least, Carlos Hyde. Hyde actually outproduced Frank Gore, which is crazy because Frank Gore obviously has been the centerpiece there for a long time, but he did. He got in late in the game, had about the same amount of yards, but did get a touchdown, so he outproduced him. So he's a nice backup on your bench for fantasy. Moving on to receivers, which is the biggest group. Steve Smith had a really nice debut for the Ravens. Hawkins from the Browns. Whenever the Browns, he had a decent amount of targets, and he caught the ball, so he looks like he'll be good, especially in PPR leagues. Hearns from the Jaguars had a nice game, 2 touchdowns in his debut. Michael Floyd from the Cardinals, he did outproduce and out-target Larry Fitzgerald by a lot, so it looks like he will be money this year. Quick from the Rams, I don't know if I believe in him, but he had a good game. He had about 99 yards for week 1, so he's decent. Wayne had a nice game. He had a lot of targets. Obviously, Luck trusts him, so he's looking like his old self. Based on matchups, the 3 guys that I like this week are Pierre Garcon, because he's getting all the targets from RG3, Emmanuel Sanders, because Wes Welker's still out, and Riley Cooper, because he's playing the Colts. I think the Colts are going to do a good job of probably stopping Macklin, but not Cooper, or vice versa. Moving on, Greg Jennings. I'm not a believer in Greg Jennings, but Matt Castle is, and that's who's throwing to him, so that's all that matters. Marquise Lee had 10 targets for the Jaguars. That's good enough. Donnie Avery, 13 targets for the Chiefs. That's money. 10 targets for Tompkins from the Pats. Also money. And last but not least, Jernigan from the Giants. He had a lot of targets. I don't know if they're probably going to throw the ball more to Victor Cruz, so kind of slow down on Jernigan. I don't think they're going to throw to him like that the whole year. 2 tight ends that I liked for pickups are Pitta. He had a lot of targets, and also Donnell from the Giants. He's a big target for Eli, and they're going to be throwing a lot because they suck. So he's a nice pickup on the waiver wire. The 4 defenses I like this week are Arizona, Houston, Denver and the Niners based on their matchups. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 IDPs, just in case you have IDPs in your league. There's Cam Chancellor, Dante Whitner, Pat Warlow, C.O. Moore from the Raiders, Leonis McKelvin from the Bills, I believe, Jonathan Joseph, Eric Berry, Gerard Mayo, and I think it's Levy from the Lions. He's a linebacker. That's all I got for this week, guys. Hopefully I have a better week. I wish you all the best. And tonight I got Torrey Smith and Dennis Pitta. So I guess go Ravens.